Frankenstein's got a journal, Wolfman has a blog. Swamp Thing tweets from down in his bog. Pete and Nash read it all, and now they're trying to see what's going on with these Vampire Diaries. Hello, welcome to the Vampire Diaries, the Vampire Diaries podcast, where a guy who has never seen the show watches the series with two superfans. I'm the titular Petey. Let's just say I put the Petey in Vampire, but please call me Pete, and I'm here with my co-host and co-parent Ash. Ash, hello.
Hey.
We're coming live from the Satellite High Dive Unlimited studio.
Yes.
Not our usual home base.
No, not in LA today.
No. And this is an exciting episode because we have our first guest ever tonight. We have Mia, a.k.a. Niece Mia.
Yep.
Mia, hello.
Hello.
Mia, tell us one sentence about yourself. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Awesome. Thank you for being on our podcast tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to ask you because on me and Ash's first episode, we talked about like what we like about vampires, what movies and books and things related to vampires we've seen in the past. In the past.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, is the Vampire Diaries your first vampire-related show or movie that you watch, or are you a big vampire fan?
No, that's the first show I've seen with vampires.
Really?
Yeah.
Books and all?
Yeah.
What about movies, too?
I might have seen a couple movies with my mom.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
yeah,
your parents like
scary things.
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure. What appeals the most to you about this type of show? What's fun about this show that... Well, let's go back a little bit. How many times have you seen The Vampire Diaries, the television show?
4 times.
4 times? What do you mean by that? 4 episodes?
No, like the whole 8 seasons 4 times.
Oh my goodness.
And I thought I was a super fan. My niece has beaten me out for the number 1 title of super fan.
We have a true super fan in the house tonight.
Definitely.
Wow. Okay, so what grabbed you about The Vampire Diaries that made you want to watch it
4
not just
times.
once, but 4 times?
Because all the exciting things that happen and different types of things that goes on.
Mm-hmm.
And like about the people and how they act.
Yeah, that's something I like about this show, too, is like the characters and how they change and different things that happen to them.
Yeah.
Yes, it gets very exciting, Pete.
I think tonight's episode was very exciting.
It was. You're only on episode 6, but it's really ramped up.
Mm-hmm.
Since it is episode 6 and there's 22 episodes, I believe, in the first season, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would say that in my sort of screenwriting knowledge that I may or may not have, I would say like this is the end of Act 1 of the season, and they're like the first 5.5 episodes, we're going to introduce you to all these characters. There are several, and introduce you to Mystic Falls, and now episode 6, we're going crazy. We're going headfirst into Act 2. We're going to see what this series is really about, which we'll talk about why I'm saying some of that stuff. But like someone saying to someone else, I'm a vampire. Like, that's a pretty big inciting incident or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, and this episode premiered October 15th, 2009, which none of us watched it on that day, but we're all big fans. And it said that this episode was watched by 3.88 million people.
Wow, that's pretty good numbers by, like, that kind of show's standard, I think.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of shows...
And there were a lot of reviews saying that it was, like, the best episode to date, and it was, like, a turning point in the show. And so it was really well received.
Mia, how do you typically watch the show? Would you sit down, watch 15 minutes of an episode? Would you watch, like, 3 episodes in a row? How do you consume the show?
I probably watch it until I get tired or fall asleep because it's really interesting.
Uh-huh.
So you just watch as much as you can?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Okay. Tonight's episode that we keep talking about, Season 1, Episode 6, it's titled Lost Girls.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking back, now that I've seen the episode, Lost Girls...
This is a question I was going to ask you. Why do you think it's called Lost Girls?
Well...
is this a question I should ask at the end?
No, we'll get to it. So, we certainly see flashbacks, like, for the first time.
Yes, I told you at the beginning that there were going to be flashbacks.
Yes.
And I was really excited about it.
You were like, there will be flashbacks. There will be blood.
How'd you feel about the flashbacks?
Well, we'll get to that. But Lost Girls, you keep asking me too many questions.
Sorry, I'm just
Lost
excited.
Girls. So we see like Catherine in action.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe she's a little bit of a lost gal. We don't know too much about her, but we do see her doing some nefarious things.
Yeah, I'm thinking Vicky is a lost girl.
Vicky seems like a lost girl. Also, I'm wondering if there's sort of like a Peter Pan Lost Boys, Lost Girls vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Lost Boys in Peter Pan lore, I think that this is correct, are like dead kids. Like Neverland is sort of like a...
Yikes. I don't know that version of Peter Pan.
A mysterious island, and they're all dead.
Ew, what?
A lot of
could have gone without knowing that.
A lot of fairy tales have darker pasts, but maybe people will be like, no, you're wrong.
Hopefully you're wrong.
So Lost Girls, I feel like these are, these are some lost souls.
Some undead ladies.
Yeah.
But I also feel like Elena is a lost girl at the end of the episode, because she just does, or like even throughout, like she just doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know like what kind of big decisions to make regarding Stefan, so she feels kind of lost.
Yeah, she feels lost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think a great title has many different meanings, or one very specific meaning.
Yeah, totally.
So let's get into the episode. Cold open. Do you know what a cold open is, Mia?
No.
Okay, a cold open is usually it's always the very first scene of a television show, and it comes before the credits, or like before the opening title. So there was a scene that we watched, and then the Vampire Diaries came up on the screen. Mm-hmm. So the cold open is that opening scene where people are doing stuff, and usually in like a horror movie like you and your parents like to watch, or in a television show like this, it's trying to hook you and grab you and be like, I want to watch this whole episode, not just these first 3 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
So this cold open started with...
By the way, Pete, you and I are always trying to teach a lesson.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're doing a public service right now.
Mm-hmm. In case any one of the other listeners didn't know what a cold open was, now they know.
One would hope, yeah. So this show opens with Elena writing in her diary. So Ash and I have talked before about how Stefan does have a vampire diary, right, that he writes in. Elena also has a diary.
And now hers is a vampire diary as well.
It's a diary about
she
vampires.
Writes about vampires.
Wow.
But she didn't know it was that until...
Now. She's like, I'm not a believer. Which, at first I was like, what? What's she talking about? And then I was like, oh, a believer in vampires.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, why would that even be a thing that she would think about? Well, obviously, recent events. Yeah. She's seen some vampy stuff going on.
She's connecting those dots.
But also, Mystic Falls, it seems like, has vampire history. So yeah. I bet, what if there's like, I don't know if we ever see this in the show, but there's like kooky, crazy old guys who are like, I believe in vampires, and everyone's just like...
And they're like shutting it down.
Yeah, you're being weird, old guy. So she's saying she's not a believer. Ooh, but by the end of this episode, that might be a change.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it seems like there's been some knowledge of what vampires are. Like, even us, if we didn't grow up in Mystic Falls, we've heard of vampires, and we can choose to believe in them or not.
Sure.
So she's just like, I'm not a believer in vampires. It's a bold statement.
True. And that certainly sets the episode off. So then the title comes up, end of cold open, right? Mm-hmm. And then we get a flashback.
Yes.
And we haven't seen any flashbacks so far.
We've only seen a picture.
Old photographs.
Of Catherine.
1864. Mm-hmm. Mia, what were you doing in 1864?
Dead.
Not yet born.
Not yet born. I thought that Stefan had good hair. What do you think,
Oh
Mia?
my gosh.
Yeah.
I started taking notes, by the way, listeners, because I don't have as good of a memory as Pete. And
I don't have a good memory, but I take notes.
I wrote, first of all, that Stefan looked pretty skinny in his old-timey clothes.
Mm-hmm.
But I wrote down, how come Stefan is hotter in 1864? Do you agree?
Yeah.
To me, I said, it makes sense. I said, he looks more like he belongs in that time period. And now, in the present day, 2009 or whenever this takes place, he looks like he's kind of faking it and like, oh, do I need this haircut? Do I need to wear this V-neck? But he looks more at home in 1864.
Yeah.
Because that's when he was just 17. He was current of the times, and he was like, I'm going to have this little long haircut.
He was a little hottie in 1864.
No comment from Mia. You know what, Mia? Not to get too deep into it, but Ash and I have had beefs in the past of who is more handsome, Stefan or Damon. You don't have to comment if you
have
don't
a
want.
preference?
Yeah.
Who?
Damon.
Okay.
Oh, you're on Team Pete over here.
Yeah, I think, purely judging from the standards that I'm presented with, I think.
He gets cuter more on till you get into the show.
I did say that as well.
Yeah. He starts with kind of a weird haircut, right?
Yeah, but he gets a whole lot cuter
Yeah.
once you get more.
There we go. All right, so Catherine, we see Catherine in action for the first time.
Yeah.
She's hopping out of the carriage. She's got a nice dress on.
And so Catherine Pierce, by the way.
Yeah.
Full
Catherine
name.
Pierce.
And there she has Elena's whole face and body.
Yeah.
Just Catherine Pierce.
I mean, I think the same actress plays her.
Maybe.
Do you have any, is this a Pete-diction or no? Do you have any, wonderings why Catherine and Elena look exactly the same?
I do.
I know you do.
I do.
Watched it 4 times.
I do later. Yeah, we'll get to that.
Okay, good.
We'll get to that. Okay, so we see that nice little flashback. Then we go to Elena and Stefan in the present.
Yeah.
And Elena is grilling Stefan. What are you? We kind of saw that at the end of last episode. What are you? And Stefan's like, you know. And then she's like, it's not possible.
It's so dramatic. That scene is so tense when you're watching it for the first time because you're like, is she really about to find out that he's a vampire?
I didn't think...
Episode 6, he's been lying to her this whole time.
Right, and I forget what I said in the past episode of what my Pete-diction of how long that was going to go on.
I think you thought it was going to last a long time.
Yeah, because it's crazy that you would say that to somebody. But also, I love the line, it's not possible, is totally from A Walk to Remember. It's when Shane West is talking to Mandy Moore, of course, the 2 stars. And she's like, he's like, let's kiss, or whatever he says. And she's like, I might be bad at it. And then he's like, that's not possible.
I know.
So
I know that so well because you quote it more often than
a lot
you
of
should.
A lot of times people ask me to do stuff or if things
are true
or possible, and I'm like, it's not possible.
Also, you weirdly look like Shane West, so that's that.
All right, and then they're still talking.
Have you seen A Walk to Remember?
No.
It's a classic from probably before you were born.
And it's a book too.
Yeah.
You should read the book.
For sure.
And then watch
It's
the
a
movie.
book, movie, classic,
Quotable.
notable, quotable. And then, dang, he said it.
Yeah.
He fessed up.
Were you surprised when he's admitted it?
No.
Okay.
Mia, what would you say if someone told you they were a vampire?
I'd definitely get scared at first, and then I'd trust them in the beginning and see where that takes us.
Okay, I like that.
That's good. It's good that you're being trustworthy. I honestly don't know what I would do. I'll tell you what, I'm not about to just sit down and have a casual lunch or breakfast with a vampire
Well, that was
Elena
the next
did.
day, right?
I know, she did the very next day. She was like, all right, and they're just sitting there, they're just sitting there chatting.
A vampire. Let's discuss this more over brunch tomorrow.
Exactly.
You stand outside my house for 7 hours. I'll get some sleep.
Yeah.
Then we'll go have like coffee and eggs and stuff.
I wrote down, how are you going to have a lunch with a vampire?
I don't know. I've heard of an interview with a vampire, but a lunch?
Seriously.
A little credit that came up on screen, like during the opening of shows, they still like put credits up on the screen of like starring blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Nina Dobrev, Paul Wesley,
Yep.
Ian Somerhalder. It said guest starring Chris Johnson. That's funny.
Who's that?
I don't know. I gotta look up who he plays, but Chris Johnson, get like a silly actor name.
I
Be
know.
like Chris Blood.
There were some very interesting names, and then Chris Johnson.
Chris Johnson.
I
Chris Johnson.
want to look up and see who Chris Johnson is.
All right, we'll hold on that. And then, yeah, I wanted to say Stefan was talking to Elena, and I felt like he was a little bit desperate. He was like, please, baby, you gotta believe me. I don't drink human blood, you know? I see now that Chris Johnson is the, he's the news reporter. I'm going to call him the weatherman a bunch in my notes, because I was like, what is this guy, a news reporter? A weatherman?
His name is Logan.
Okay, Logan. Logan the weatherman.
Played by Chris Johnson.
Chris Johnson, he does a great job. We love him. But Chris Johnson, make it Chris.
Christoph Johnson.
Christoph or Topher Johnson.
Christoph Hansen.
Perfect. We cut to Damon. He's pigging out on a bunch of cemetery weirdos. Right?
Bold.
For him, yeah.
For you.
Oh, for me to say
Call
that?
them cemetery weirdos. Yeah.
Are you okay? I guess probably at least 10% of the people listening hang out in cemeteries very often.
Who knows?
I don't want to alienate any cemetery weirdos. No, but yeah, so what just happened with Damon? So he was in the Vervain. He was in the Vervain like basement for a while.
Yeah.
And he just
broke
busted
out.
out. Oh, broke out.
Snapped cousin, brother, nephew.
Yeah, uncle nephew.
Zach.
Uncle nephew
I
Zach.
can never remember his name.
All right, Mia, you will be on every episode from now on, okay? That's not true, but we like your facts.
Yeah.
Thank you. Snaps Zach's neck, goes out and feeds.
Yeah, because remember the beginning of the episode, which is actually the end of last episode, Stefan is walking out the door with a stake in his hand.
To go
kill Damon, and then at the front door he runs into Elena, and he like puts it like to the side when he's
He like
talking
drops
to her.
it in the bush.
Yeah.
Man.
So Damon's just going on a rampage because he hasn't eaten human blood or anything that whole time. So he's mad and he's hungry and he just goes buck wild.
He does. And does he call Stefan on the phone?
Yes.
Okay. And he's like, I want my ring. And my joke that I always say to Ash is that the rings, if they take them off, they instantly turn super old. Like they turn all 160 whatever years old, and they're like, oh, Damon, oh, Stefan. I know that's not true, but that's
so gross.
Yeah.
That's my joke. They take off the ring and they're like, oh, they shrivel up to be very old.
Yeah.
Vicky is one of the cemetery weirdos.
She is.
Keep saying it.
But she's hanging in there.
Yeah, she's like, I just don't want to die, which is so sad. And I was like, wait, so now she'll be undead?
Mm-hmm.
That was a little Pete-diction.
Yeah.
Which I already...
You got the answer to that.
I did. I think I said that she was going to be a naughty vampire at some point.
Yeah, you predicted that she would.
Well, I'm very good at watching this show. I look at it, I watch it.
Well, you were wrong about them turning super old.
Yeah, but I'm going to keep saying that I'm right about that. All right, so some quick exposition and vampire rules at the Mystic Grill.
Don't you love the vampire rules?
Yeah, so, Mia, do you know, like, because you don't read a lot of vampire stuff or watch a lot of vampire stuff, do you know a lot of the vampire rules? I guess you do from this show because they do a really good job of outlining them.
Yeah.
But I think that even in this show, they change some of the rules. Like, for example, when you take off a ring, you don't look super old. Just kidding, that's not one.
And no, like the garlic and the mirrors.
Yeah. Do you know that, like, vampires can't eat garlic and stuff?
Yeah.
What else? Any other ones that you've heard? Like,
The mirrors are a myth.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And when they take off their rings in the sunlight, they'll burn to death.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever read or watched Twilight?
Yeah.
But that's different though, right? Because in Twilight, what happens when they are in the sunlight? Do you remember?
They turn into werewolves.
They sparkle. They get all sparkly.
I don't remember the
Yeah,
Twilight.
Mia probably watched that when she was 3 years
That's
old or
fine.
something like that.
But it's just interesting because when you write like stuff about supernatural characters, you can kind of decide what you want the rules to be.
Yeah.
And the rules are always kind of similar, but it's interesting to see, to like learn all the rules right here.
And if you are going to write about something that is in the public consciousness or that is very popular that people have heard of before, if you're not going to go by the exact same rules that everyone goes by, you need to have a scene like this where Elena gets the rundown. Garlic, oh, I can eat it. Holy water, I can drink it, and all this stuff. So it's fun to see what rules they keep and what they do not.
Yeah, and then it's good for the writers and stuff to have those rules established because those rules play into the whole series.
Totally. All right. Damon gives Vicky his vampire blood.
Yeah.
What? So
That's
what
the
is
first
her...
time you've seen a human drink blood.
Okay, I was going
right?
to say, what's her status in that moment?
She was human.
In that moment, he had just taken her back to his place, basically. Mm-hmm. He hadn't even started, like, biting her or anything?
No, he bit her at the cemetery.
Bit her at the cemetery, took her back.
She was super weak, and he's like, oh, you just don't want to die. And so he just doesn't want to leave her there, like, struggling. So he brings her back to see, like, is she going to just recover or not? Mm-hmm. And then when he hears about, like, how miserable she is and, like, she's not... No, that was later. When he finds out that she's just kind of being boring, whatever, he wants her to get more energy so they can hang out and party. So then he gives her his blood.
And at some point, he figures out he can use her.
Yeah, but when he gives her the blood, I feel like as a viewer, as the first time you think, oh, that's going to make her automatically a vampire, but it doesn't.
Right.
It just kind of makes her high in a way. But
it heals her wounds.
Yep, and it heals her wounds.
Heals her wounds. Vampire blood is very potent.
And she's a drug addict anyway, so like to get vampire blood, she's like, new drug. Okay, let's do this.
Yikes.
Which is no good. Don't do drugs.
No one should do drugs.
Or suck people's blood.
Oh, don't do that, especially. That's even worse.
Maybe do drugs, but don't suck people's blood
No,
for sure.
don't do either. All right, so somebody, was it Stefan and Elena who were rolling in the fresh Escape?
Yes.
They were driving. Who's driving? Is that Elena's car?
Elena was driving it. Mm-hmm.
Something I like about that car.
Something familiar.
All right, so Stefan's like, I've been 17 years old since 1864.
Yeah.
Which actually, sort of, I guess, but actually, no, you're just are turning more old. You're 170 whatever.
But he looks 17 years old. That's what matters.
Okay, but I could be like, yeah, I've been 17 since 2000 whatever.
No, because
it's not true.
His life ended at 17. He didn't have like more birthdays and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't relate to that at all.
You're
my
right.
my life didn't end at 17 either.
What's this tattoo say again? Young and in love.
18 forever. 17 forever. Oh, that'd be a good tat for him.
Yeah.
All right, so we get another flashback. It's Stefan and Damon. They're playing, like, football.
Mm-hmm. They're like, we just learned about this.
Yeah, I probably...
Yeah, what did you say?
In camp.
At camp. They probably, if we look up the history of football, maybe they were throwing that in there because it was invented in 18 whatever.
That would be good.
I feel like they're playing younger kids than... Well, obviously, in one way they are because both of those actors are like late 20s. Mm-hmm. And they're playing 17-year-olds, but also they're seeming way younger.
Yeah, but Damon is older than Stefan, so...
Okay. But Damon was especially kind of laying it on as like, I'm 12 or something. Nothing against being 12.
But in the video, I mean, in that scene, I agree that Damon was being really childish.
Yeah.
But I also feel like maybe it was like true to the times. Like everyone was like super innocent.
No, I wanted to say the opposite. I was saying if they were like 17 or 16 in that era, they would be like middle aged. Like people,
that's true.
people were getting married at like 19 and then like, I'm old at 34.
Yeah.
This is how old I am.
And then you die when you're like 50 or whatever.
Yeah, if you live that long.
Or you become a vampire.
Hey, either you live long enough to become a vampire. You live long enough to become a vampire. I don't know where I was going with that. But also in that same flashback, like Damon was a Confederate soldier.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whoa.
He was.
And later in the show, it shows another scene of him being a soldier.
Yeah, the soldier
Whoa.
piece is just the tip of the iceberg right now.
Wow. That was something I was like, could be interesting. Virginia, Confederate soldier.
It is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
There was some social stuff going on for sure.
Mm-hmm.
With, they had servants and stuff like that. Wow.
I know.
They were going there.
But yeah, they were showing what it was like around that time. Except that the kids were acting too childish.
Yeah.
That part was a little off.
Just one thing was inconsistent. All right, Catherine, she was sassy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Very sassy and very flirty.
Interesting.
What do you think about Catherine?
I like her. She's one of my favorite characters because she's a bad one. What you get later.
Yeah, well, you can even see that in her in this scene. Like,
oh, yeah. Well,
she's like,
in the
she
later
like
scene.
plays the boys, and she's like, oh, well, which one of you two is gonna take me to the what's it called?
The Founders Ball,
Founders
yeah.
Ball.
The OG Founders Ball.
Yeah.
Founders Ball
Numero uno.
1.
Mm-hmm.
So, one of my Pete-dictions from a past episode was that Vicky would take to being a vampire.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like she will be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I think I wrote this note when I was thinking she was already a vampire, like running around and being crazy, but she wasn't yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks like Vicky is going to have an interesting run of that.
And a lot of people were involved with her, like, they thought she was all on drugs. Are we at this scene? Are we
Not
talking
yet,
about this
not yet, but
okay.
yeah.
All right, I'll wait.
Okay. Catherine was a vamp?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Please do not tell me, but you were like, what do you think about Elena, whatever?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, is Elena Catherine with Vamp-nesia?
Okay.
Don't answer that, but obviously they look exactly the same because the same actress is playing them. Stefan and Damon are like, they look exactly the same. The, I guess, simpler answer would just be like, oh, it's the grandkid or great-grand, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the crazy answer would be, Elena is Catherine with Vamp-nesia.
Mia and I won't say anything, but we're just going to look at each other and giggle.
Okay. I'm not going to read anything into that, but that would be weird, and that would take some explaining, which obviously they could do, of why.
In 8 seasons.
In 8 seasons, they certainly could go there. And also it would be like, why does she... So her parents are dead, maybe she never had parents? Or she had parents in 18 whatever. But then how does Jeremy factor into it? He's not a vampire.
You got so many thoughts.
I don't know.
But it's
We'll
good.
see.
This show is making you think. It's making you feel like, what's the connection?
Thank goodness something is making me think these days. All right, the Founders. Are we calling these people the Founders? The cop and the weatherman?
No, they're descendants of the founders, the founding families.
The founding families. They're using the watch as what? A vampire compass?
Yeah.
Of sorts?
That's what it's called.
They had to use a couple of relics to make it.
Love a good relic. Love
Love a good relish on my hot dog.
I relish the fact of using a relic. All right, Vicky being wacky. Okay, so Ash commented while we were watching the show about Damon's moves when he's doing little dances.
Yeah.
I said, He's dancing exactly like Ian Somerhalder in The Rules of Attraction. He's getting ready in front of the mirror in that one scene.
Yeah.
He's doing his little do.
Yeah.
Shaking his little hips.
When I watched that, I was like, that's just how he dances.
Yeah. Ian Somerhalder that's one of his dance moves.
Totally. And when he was kept earlier on, when he kept calling Stefan and was like, "Where's my ring? Where's my ring?" And he was like, "I'm so bored." And that's when he like brings Vicky, and they end up having this dance party because he's so bored. I was thinking that being trapped in the house as a vampire with no ring is the same as being in quarantine.
It's exactly the same. Yeah, you're walking around the house. He's drinking too much.
Doing little dance parties. You're
listening
so bored.
to old music.
Yeah, and you're like, I can't get out, because Damon can't get out without his ring. Just like in quarantine, you can't leave the house. Very similar.
It's exactly 100% the same. I'm surprised no one said it in the episode.
Exactly.
Okay, so Vicky is pouring her soul out to Damon, by the way. And she's like, my mom, she spends time in Virginia Beach with Pete. Hold on.
Wait, what are you doing in Virginia Beach with Vicky's mom?
I know, right? Busted. Now the Vampire Diaries has a whole other meaning.
I know. I want to see your diary.
I want to see like a travelogue with Vicky's mom.
I want to see your diary, the Vampire Diary that it talks about your tryst with Vicky's mom in Virginia Beach.
I'm an open book. You can read it whenever you want. We drove down. We visited Kohler Books.
Hey.
What else?
In the sand?
What else is VA Beach specific? We were on our way to OBX.
Well,
we went to Ocean City first.
I don't want to know anything about this anymore. I changed my mind.
All right, but Pete drives trucks, which we've established that's exactly what I do. All right, Vicky is going through it. She's having every emotion. And here's my question. Mia, step up to the mic for a hot second. Do you think that Vicky looks anything like Aunt Ashley at all? Do you think they have any similar characteristics?
No.
No?
No.
I think they have similar mouths.
I think Vicky has more darker hair.
Mm-hmm.
That is true.
But also, Mia looks like me also, so it's kind of strange.
Yeah.
It's true. Damon, then, Mia, cover your ears, snaps Vicky's neck. Yikes! That was scary. And I was like, is she dead?
That's the second neck snap, I think.
Man, people are just snapping necks out here.
First uncle, nephew,
Zach.
Cody. Robert, Paul. And now,
Mark Paul Gosselaar.
Vicky. What did you think was going to happen when he snapped her neck?
I knew she was going to become a naughty vamp, Ash. That's where the show's going. I predicted this.
I know. Okay, good.
We knew that from day one.
Isn't that all supposed to be a surprise?
Damon gives a couple more quick rules. They give the rules. I like it. I'll listen to the rules.
And Damon talks really fast. So he's just like, yeah, and then she's got to feed and then she can become a vampire.
Yes. All right, here's my next question. Here's my next question. Where's Caroline? Where's Bonnie?
I know.
Where did we leave them even last?
Caroline, Bonnie, Tyler.
Oh, Ty, my buddy Ty.
Yeah, they're not in this ep.
Their contracts stipulated they had to be down a couple eps.
Yeah, I wrote that. I thought it was a good idea, though, that they did this one episode that was, like, really super focused on the rules and what it's like to transition into a vampire. Because, spoiler alert, there will be other people that turn into vampires.
No.
I won't tell you who.
No, not in the Vampire
But, like,
Diaries.
they don't have to go through the long, drawn-out rules and this and every single moment. But they do it for just Vicky so that later they can kind of, like, speed through it.
Yeah, they'll be like, yeah.
So I think they chose to, like, give a huge focus on that, which means that we didn't get to see Bonnie or Caroline or Ty.
Maybe, hopefully they'll just be like one scene in the next episode where they're like driving back and they park and they're like, that was a great trip to the lake. You know?
Yeah.
That's a Pete-diction.
I kind of like this is really popular in these teen shows, though, where you don't see every character all the time in every episode.
Hey, if I'm seeing every character all the time, I'm confused. Get these characters out of here.
No, but like in Friends and stuff, I'm sure you saw every single friend every single episode.
I mean, yeah, Lord willing. Thank goodness.
Yeah, but this is a little bit different where they can do like more focused
For sure.
episodes
And
more focused stories.
They did dial it in for this episode. They had a big episode.
But I am also wondering about Caroline. Is Caroline going to be like, what? Vicky got turned into a vampire before me?
For sure. Yeah, I didn't even think about that Caroline wasn't a vampire, but she's not. She's just feed bag.
Yeah, exactly.
Yikes. All right. So the weatherman gets some wood bullets. Yikes. That's cool, though. That's a cool vampire thing. Mm-hmm. And we get some exposition. These won't kill a vampire, but they'll hurt them, so that comes into play later.
Hurt them enough so you can stake them.
Yep.
And that was said by Sheriff Forbes, which is Caroline's mom.
Forbes. She's on the Forbes list. All right. Vicky is hungering, but from my knowledge, like in True Blood, food tastes like dust. It's all not satisfying. Mm-hmm. It tastes bad.
Ew.
So that's annoying. She's like crushing all this food, but it's probably not even good.
Yeah, she's just like, I think I'm hungry. I'm trying to eat all this stuff, but it's not working.
She's got a hunger, but she can't quench it. Stefan gave Elena the vervain necklace. Okay, hey, when I've been editing these episodes, I found a little drop that I'm not going to put it into this episode, but I just said in the moment, I was like, dun-na, dun-na, vervain. And so I set that aside as an audio file that I might drop in some of these episodes. I don't feel like doing it now, but dun-na, dun-na, vervain. I'm doing it live instead.
Very good.
All right, Matt.
So let's go back to the necklace. So Stefan explains to Elena that her necklace he gave her has vervain in it and that she can't be compelled, which that's a vocabulary word you need to know on this show, right, Mia?
Yeah.
Instead of glamored, it's compelled.
Compelled.
We didn't know that yet.
And so he's like, well, no matter what, you should never take this necklace off because even if I try to compel you or Damon or whoever, you'll at least know you always got to make your own decisions.
I like that.
That's how you know that she can trust him.
Yeah, unless that's the ultimate lie. Yeah, you're making your own decisions. Not. No, I don't believe that. All right. So Matt comes to check in on his sister, Vicky. Mm-hmm. And earlier when I was watching the show, Mia, I was like, Matt, who is this guy? Is he some kind of jerk? And Ash was like, no, he's a nice guy. And so now I'm trying to watch him and be like, oh, he's nice. And
do you agree he's a nice guy?
Yeah, but I don't really get the point why he's in it because later on in the show he keeps switching his mind through liking vampires and disliking them.
Well, in this episode,
I don't like him that much.
Okay, see, maybe I was right.
I think I agree with Mia actually, but at this point in the show, he's just a nice guy. He just cares about everyone, really, especially his sister.
Well, in this episode, I was watching him thinking that he was nice, but maybe he has a dark side as well. But I'm going to try and read him as nice until he shows me otherwise.
And you might be able to hear our pug snoring, just so you know.
Yes, we do have a snoring pug right up to the mic. Damon is making Vicky transition. Stefan says she has to feed on human blood. Yikes.
Yeah. That's the step that comes after the neck snapping.
Vicky runs off into the night. Stefan says he can track her. I guess he has vamp tracking abilities.
Yeah, they can sense each other and stuff.
Like that. The weatherman is tracking vamps. I was like, hey, my note was, hey, track a stormy weather system, bro, not vamps. You're in over your head.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe see when it's gonna rain, not when it's gonna pain.
That guy was being super bold and he was being super bold and being like that he was gonna just go kill this vampire like it was easy.
No.
Not even the police officer wanted to do it.
No. And also
she's like, you got this? And he's like, yep.
Yep.
Okay, all right, bye.
if I know when it's gonna rain, I already said something like that. But if I know when it's gonna snow, you know, the vampire, I gotta go. I don't know. He's not even a weatherman, so all this is
Too silly.
too silly for this show. For this show, too silly.
Mm-hmm.
Damon shows up at Elena and Jeremy's house. He's like, he does his little Grinch smile.
Yep.
Hey, Mia, do you think that he smiles like the Grinch? Have you seen the live action Grinch? And Damon, his like lips go up and he smiles like the Grinch?
Yeah.
Me too.
So you're not wrong.
He's like, I've been invited in, Grinch smile. And he can come in. And Mia, did you, before you watched the Vampire Diaries, did the Vampire Diaries, we always... It just flows together like that. But anyway, did you know that that's a popular vampire rule that, like, you have to be invited in as a vampire? Yeah. For sure.
So there's, like, a border.
Mm-hmm.
You can't cross it unless you're invited in. I think that's a very cool rule that
it is.
Whoever from the past set up.
I know. I like it.
Vicky has to come to terms with having to feed. Man, that's a tough call.
I know.
What's she gonna do?
I don't think that she would have done it unless there was already some open flesh wound. Like, I think that's the part that made her just like she had to do it.
Yeah. Like, sometimes I'm like, I'm really not trying to eat potato chips.
But someone else got them out?
Someone else opened them up. I'm at a party or something, and I'm like, well, I'm already here.
I know, and then if you're a vampire, it's times 1,000.
At least. Well, you don't know how I love potato chips.
Oh, okay, all right.
No, so maybe it's times like 10 or something. Anyway. All right, the weatherman shoots Stefan with a wooden bullet. Then Vicky. So I feel like there's just a lot of commotion, and yeah, that also adds to Vicky.
Yeah.
Like, just going in.
Going all in.
Damon gets his ring back.
Mm-hmm.
He puts it on, turns young again. I was like, this is an efficient scene. It's a couple minutes of scene, and so much stuff happens all at once. Wow. Must have been very hard to film, especially it was at night. You know, filming at night is very difficult. Yeah. Everyone's tired. Got to put lights up and stuff.
Yeah.
Even though it's dark, you got to put lights up. That doesn't make sense. Steals the watch, too, or the compass.
Yeah. He did a lot.
Damon comes out on top at the end of this.
I know. He's just so powerful. He fed on all those people, and he just, like, went crazy. Did all this stuff.
And then Elena and Stefan have a little heart-to-cold heart.
I know, but that's, like, the part of the show that I like the most.
No, it's good. It's very compelling.
And their relationship issues
That's
stuff.
That's exactly what I said. That just makes it all the more enticing for them to be together. They're putting up boundaries. That's a common trope in a lot of young adult fiction or whatever media is the forbidden love.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that she should have broken up with him?
No.
Me neither.
I think she should have just tried to trust him and then see where that took her, and then she would make up her mind to see if she wanted to stay with him or not.
I know, but she did that for like a day, but that wasn't very long. But I do think it would have been really weird of Elena if she was just immediately like, okay, you're a vampire, and these are all the rules about vampires.
No, yeah.
Let's be boyfriend and girlfriend. Like, I think it was more human of her to be like, oh, maybe I don't want to be with you because it's too weird.
Yeah, well, this is setting stakes, no pun intended. But also it's putting a big old fence around their relationship. Mm-hmm. And now who's going to climb the fence? Who's going to put more fences in front of the fence?
Who's going to be impaled by the fence?
Ooh. Stakes.
Dude, what do you think? Do you think she should have broken up with him?
From which angle? From a writer's perspective or from
just your first, like, just as a viewer?
Should she have broken up? Yes, of course. Finds out he's a naughty vamp.
I don't know if he's naughty.
That he's H for B? Too scary. I don't even like dating someone who lives west of the 101.
The one on one west of it. You
I
mean
don't
north
know.
or south?
Yeah, I was trying to make some kind of joke. I've never dated anyone.
No, we've
I've
been
married
together
for my entire life.
We've been together forever.
Yeah.
Just like Catherine said that she would be with Stefan and Damon.
Maybe they are because Elena is Catherine.
And maybe we are because we're vampires.
And that's why we're doing this show, because we can't not talk about it.
All right, I hope you edit this part out.
Nope. All right. So we're going to wrap it up. Ash, do you have anything else?
I don't think so.
I just wanted to...
I did. Oh, I actually had one little thing was when Vicky went into Elena's house and she was all messed up. I was saying that they were treating it like transitioning into a vampire was like being high. And they were like...
Who's to say?
They were just really taking what they knew about Vicky and that she likes to do drugs and just assuming it was that. But also... They were kind of right because there was like, I'm hungry. I don't want the lights too bright.
Yeah,
or like being hungover or whatever.
Yeah, hangover. Listen to this, and this is why anyone should hire me to write on a show right this second. She had a fangover.
Oh,
whoa!
She did. That's exactly what it was. I'm glad I brought that up because I like the fangover.
Yeah, I just made that up right this second, and I could make up 1,000 of those every single minute in a writer's room or something. But anyway. Speaking of fangs, I give this episode 2 fangs. So Mia, how we rate these episodes is 0 fangs, 1 fang, or 2 fangs. 2 fangs is the best because vampires have 2 fangs. 1 fang would be like some weird vampire that got their fang knocked out. 0 fangs, I guess, would be any number of things because a lot of things don't have fangs. But anyway,
like a human.
I'm saying this episode was 2 fangs. It was top notch. Probably the best episode out of the 6 episodes that I've seen.
Yeah.
What's your rating?
2 fangs.
Me too.
Okay, without saying anything, you friends who have seen more episodes than me, in the whole series, would you say this is in the top? Oh, me and Mia were learning some math today. Mm-hmm. Was this in the top quartile of episodes? So that's in the top 25% of episodes. Would you say this is one of the best 1/4 of episodes?
No.
No? Mm-mm. There's more than 25% of episodes that's better than this episode?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
my
I actually agree with Mia, but I think that this is definitely a turning point and a very important episode that none of the other episodes could happen without this one happening.
Yeah.
I think it's a very pivotal episode, but I don't think it's the best.
At this news, I am opening my collar and steam is coming out. My hat jumped off my head and spun around in circles. And you can color me tickled pink. Oh, I do have some Pete-dictions.
Okay, good. Pete-dictions are my favorite.
They're like predictions or predictions, but my name is Pete, so they're Pete-dictions.
And if you have any... Oh, you don't have me addictions because you already seen it.
Yeah.
No me addictions, please. All right. In the next episode or 2, there will be a montage of Vamp Vicky walking back into school. There'll be like rock music, and it'll be cool.
Okay.
Supernatural thoughts. Vicky and Damon are going to team up to do bad stuff. Not sure of Damon's overall motivation right now, though. I guess maybe he loves chaos. He's trying to get to Elena. He also loves just plain old messing with his bro.
Mm-hmm. Big brother messing with his little brother.
All right. Well, I could roll into the outro unless... Thank you, Mia, for being our first ever guest.
I know.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, it was so fun. If you like the Vampire Diaries... Vampire Diaries, Damon, Caroline, and or you are a young adult, you should check out my young adult book series, The Happenstances, at tinyurl.com/thehappenstances. Also, I have a horror, spooky, short story out right now called Pipes. Go to ko-fi.com/high-dive publishing. There are also a couple other short stories on there.
One is called Ash.
One is called Ash.
Check it out.
For any questions or concerns, follow me at Peter L. Harmon on Twitter or Instagram. Ash isn't on Twitter, and she's private on Instagram. If you have something to say to her or Mia that isn't weird, I'll share it with them. Or email thehappenstances@gmail.com. Don't tweet spoilers at me, please, or you will get muted, not blocked. I need the follower count. Something we always do is we end super abruptly, but thank you, Mia.
You're welcome.